Hey everybody, how you doing out there? It's your boy from Brooklyn, Shannon Ambrosio, just saying what's going on. It's another Sunday and another Everything and Nothing podcast with your boy from Brooklyn. What's going diggity down? How is everybody? Let's find out if I got this thing working properly. Let's find out. Let's see. Let's see if we have anything going on here. Maybe anything? Anything? I think it's working. I think it's working fine. Let's find out. Yo, loud and clear. That's what's up right there. All right. Tommy Mad Dog, always coming true. Always, always, and then always, and then always, always, and one more always. So that's what's happening today. It's another Everything and Nothing podcast. Another week has gone by. We are getting closer and closer to all these holidays that are coming up. I could feel it in the air. The cold weather starts to set in over here on the East Coast. North, we get a lot of cold weather here. We get a lot of snow. Not as much as some of the other states, but we get really cold winters. We get cold winters, kind of damp, a lot of snow, but not like, oh my goodness, Chicago, Wisconsin, right? All those places. Minnesota, oh my goodness, Minnesota. That's what's up right there. You got a lot of cold weather there, right? That's cold out, that piece right there in Minnesota. But, with the cold weather here, because what the cold weather starts to do, I think here on the East Coast with folks, is that we start to get into that holiday spirit, right? And we start to think about things in a different way, right? We become a little more friendly. We tend to let, when you're driving on the road, you tend to let that other car in without giving everybody the finger and a couple of motherfucks and up your ass. One of those, we kind of let people kind of groove and shit. We meld. Our holiday hearts start to open up our graciousness. I think it's a wonderful time of the year. I think when that happens. Maybe not everybody feels that way. Definitely not the Grinch. So don't be a Grinch. You know what I'm saying? Don't be a Grinch. You heard? So how is everybody in the holiday gift giving idea, right? Well, how does everybody feel about that? What's with the gift giving thing? How are we doing this year? What do we do? Are you everybody gets one? Are you somebody gets one and nobody gets any? How does that work? I like to think at a certain point in a certain age, I think holiday gift giving is kind of a weird thing after a while. Children always the same. You got to hook the kids up. That's how it is, right? They look forward to that. But in the adult section right there, that things get a little cloudy and kind of weird after a while. I tell everybody, just don't happy holidays. That'll do. Don't need nothing else. You heard. But I like the idea of people gathering together. I talked about that last podcast about how to be a good holiday guest and how to be a good host is part of that too. But with this holiday and the new year coming upon us, I'd like to talk a little bit about something else. And what's funny is that it really kind of comes to the forefront for me today because of my son has been staying with me for a little bit, and he finally took it upon himself to gather up his manhood and his independence, and off and out he goes. And that's how it works, folks. The independent bug tends to hit us at a certain age. And what's funny, I think around, I want to say it because it sounds very familiar, because, my son is moving on and becoming independent. And probably around the same time that I kind of had to, or was moved into that, being out on my own role, was just before it got cold, like right at the end of the summer. when things start to slow down a little bit, right? The summertime and spring, everybody's moving fast, and all of a sudden, you tend to get that wildness out of you, that wild spirit, and all of a sudden the weather starts to get a little cooler, and we all start getting that whole idea of like, man, I gotta get my shit together. I don't know why, right? It's that New Year's resolution thing. That's what happens, right? So the independence bug kind of gets a hold of everybody around this time of the year, I think. It's like things slow down. You're not worried about, trying to do 100 million things in the spring and summer for us over here on the East Coast. Vacations, kids out of school, you're not thinking about much, and all of a sudden it starts to slow down. You're like, man, what am I doing with myself? Where am I going? Am I as independent as I think I am? What's going on here? Why can't I do the things I want to do when I want to do them? That's part of being independent. And I'm going to go back here and talk about the idea of independence and how a lot of young adults tend to think they're, I'm independent, oh, my parents don't really, I just live there. And I go, well, shit, you ain't paying for shit. Fuck you. You do whatever the hell they say. That's how it works there up in this piece right here. But, I bring everything back to a very simple form, very simple way of thinking of things. Right. And I always say to somebody, how independent are you and at what age do you become independent? And let me tell you how this works. Right. You're at home and I don't know, you're between the ages of where you think you know it all and you've done everything and nobody can tell you shit. You're around that fucking age. Let's just say it's somewhere in that age range, anywhere from teen to 20 teen or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Is that they know it all, been there, done that. I don't need nobody. It's okay. Here we go. Mr. Independent, Mrs. Independence here. This is the scenario. It's a great day. You had a great breakfast. You had a wonderful lunch. Maybe even a couple of cocktails if you're of age somewhere. And then you have a sensible dinner. Let's just go with that one. You got a sensible dinner in you. And all of a sudden, the laziness, the itis starts to kick in and you sit and you chill and you put the glasses on. Maybe you pick up a book or turn on your favorite television show, at that age, who knows? And then you get the rumble. You got to go. You got to go. You got to make your way. This is all going to come to fruition. You'll see. And you got to make your way to the bathroom. And that's how it is. And there you go. You proceed. Comes down. The seat gets taken on the throne. The music comes on. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Maybe newspaper, maybe Cosmopolitan, who knows? Most likely it's the phone that's stuck in your eyeball. Out the chute it goes, you're on the bow, you reach over. Now you're living at home with your parents, and there's toilet paper there. And whether you're a scruncher or you're a roller or you're a kind of bottle it all up type person, you give it clean. And on you go. Disposing of things is necessary, never having to wonder if there's toilet paper there. The TP rule. You're at home. Mrs. and Miss and Mr. Independence here. Then you move out. And you didn't pay attention and you didn't listen. Because remember, you're at that age between the teen and the 20 teen and the routine. Excuse me. And you don't remember shit, can't do shit. All you can have is taking a shit. So you always think there's toilet paper there. Lo and behold, young ladies and young gentlemen, when you move out and you're sitting there the first time and you cannot figure out in the life and the why and how the universe did not put the toilet paper that was in the parents' house in this new place, and you're sitting there wondering why my toilet paper is not there. Welcome to fucking independence. When you now have to succumb to the TP rule, which means you are now responsible for all the buying of all the toilet paper. That's how you know fully and 100% You are now independent. So I say to you, my son, as you embark on this long journey that you will be on called independence, remember, stop by the supermarket and buy your toilet paper. And that right there, folks, is a friendly message from your boy from Brooklyn, Shannon Ambrosio. And that's what independence is all about, as far as I'm concerned. The idea of the simplest of things that you may take for granted constantly are the things that you probably don't think about the most. And I think that's what independence means. Independence to me means that I get to choose how it is I want to partake in that ritual of buying of the toilet paper. Am I more of a single ply, a double ply? Maybe I'm kind of a wet wipe, pat dry, two finger stink at the bottom. Who knows? Nobody. But I think about those things, the normalcy of the everydays when you're growing up. And most of us as young adults, we don't pay attention to a lot of things, kind of like, the milk carton in the refrigerator and the toilet paper and the paper towels and, the clean towels in the closet, in the linen closet or what have you. We tend to think about these things as a normalcy, but somewhere, some way, somehow, as we get older and as our independence starts to separate us from the nest, we have to think about those things and think about the things that we want to do going forward. And like I said before, you may not your feeling of independence may not be the same as somebody else's. Like for me, I like the organizing, I like getting things together, but for somebody else, being independent may mean not having to do those things and maybe getting somebody else to do them, or choosing to live in a messy house. But again, that's the true idea of independence. I never think it's about oh, you got to be so responsible. And no, it's figuring out that what you want to be the most independent from, whether it be, having to hire somebody to do carpentry work for you, learn how to do carpentry work. That's independence. You learn those things. If independence means so many things to me. If you want something bad enough, you become independent of the thing that may, pull you towards that, right? So, if you want to, don't want to have to work for somebody because can't, take authority figures, then you need to figure out a way how to start a business and be a boss. And that's the truth. And that's part of independence as well, not having to rely on somebody for everything, right? That's the part of independence of when young adults move on to become, full-time responsible adults in some capacity. I mean, we're always, figuring on being totally independent. That's very hard. Because we all need certain things and we sometimes crave companionship and so on and so forth. But as far as independence goes, to me, that's what it means. It means making yourself independent from having to have somebody else do that or do those things for you, learning to do them on your own. That's part of the independence thing, That's why I would say, it starts with the TP rule. And if you understand the TP rule, as simple as that, then independence to you is going to mean a lot of different things, and it should vary from person to person. Everybody's thought of independence shouldn't be the same. It should be what you think independence means. And that is the true meaning of independence, is knowing what you want to be independent from. And I think that's for me, that's kind of a growing message constantly. That's my idea of why I want to learn so much all the time instead of just having somebody do something for me. I crave the idea of wanting to know. I crave the idea of truly becoming independent from certain things. And that's why, when this whole talk of solar and all this other thing was coming up, become truly independent, become, go off the grid and so on and so forth. It doesn't work that easy. But the idea of it is there. And I think about that a lot. And I think about that with, technology and our independence from a lot of things, independence from needing to wait for certain things, independence from not knowing so many things because of, you know, long expanses of time and so on and so forth. And now with the, you know, the invention of technology and the internet and all that stuff, and information is pertinent and, you know, at our fingertips and any beck and call. I mean, that's truly independent. You know, you don't have to wait for this information anymore. You can have it at your beck and call, which I think is something incredible. You know, and that to me is another form of independence as humanity goes, as us as a race, as we advance, the independence that we are gaining constantly from things that we was, you know, basically, you know, under the gun at. So I don't know. I enjoy the idea of the independence and being independent. And that, you know, that's I'm hoping as my son or as these young adults are starting to go out into the world and realize that, you know, not everything is exactly how you see it. You know, not everything is the way you've heard it should be, you know, and that's, you know, and that's the independence. You know, like we tend to get stuck in this idea that, you know, there's you know, a ritual, coming of age ritual that happens, you know, with men and women as we go, you know, on in time, is that, you know, hey, you're born and you go to school and then you get a girlfriend and then you go to college and then, or you get a job, you know, and then you get married and then you have kids and you move on, and that's it. You know, that's a true message of, you know, just straight line, don't think left, don't think right. You know, that's not true independence. True independence means that you get to decide. You get to decide what it is that you want to do and how you see your path and who you see it with. I mean, that's truly independence too. That's truest of all independence. And when you think about different things, independence, or being independent means is that you have the ability as an individual to decide what it is you want to do. I mean, come on, if we all, you know, followed down the path that everybody wanted us to when we were young, and people telling you this and telling you that, you wouldn't have great thinkers. You wouldn't have, you know, great engineers. You wouldn't have people that were defiant enough to change things constantly. You know, to me, that's total independence. And I look across the room inside my studio, I'm reminded of these things all the time by the people I have hanging here, the inspirations of these people and their independence, constantly being independent. You know, Muhammad Ali, my father, you know, I mean, shoot, Paulie Calabrese, Gary Calabrese. I mean, all the individuals here and all the people that I tend to surround myself with, you know, James Dean above me, are these people that had this true identity of being independent and not being like everybody else. What a great message. What a great message of independence and what that means, of being independent, you know, and I love that. And that's why I applaud my son and these young adults that are finally going out and pursuing the things that they want to do and becoming more independent. We all get a scraped knee and a scuffed, you know, a shin here and there, you know, but you know, we all as human beings, we're very resilient, extremely resilient. And I mean, the unfortunate part is that you can't do like the birds in the bird's nest and just flop the bird out the thing and say, hey, shit, you fly, you're on your own, you're all right, you know. But in this case, you know, we tend to coddle a little bit more, which is good, I think, because it lets our younger generations know that we are getting more and more understanding as time passes. You know, everybody's not so closed-minded anymore, you know, which is good, you know, because we didn't like it when our parents did it to us, and so on and so on and so on. And this one told somebody and that one told somebody. And that's the truth. So every time we think about independent, you know, or being independent, it's changed over time. The evolution of it is changing. And, you know, we have to kind of accept it. But most of all, we have to embrace it. Otherwise, it's never going to happen. You know, I know the statistics, you know, things are happening now about younger adults staying at home much longer than they did before. Well, things are a little bit harder now. Competition is a lot more fierce. You know, people travel more for work. People relocate now. So you have to kind of get that understanding of how it changes. You know, it used to be, you know, years ago, I think about it, shit, growing up in Brooklyn, you know, hey, get a civil service, you go a union job or something, and, you know, put your 20, 25 years in, you retire, and that's the end of that. No, nobody thought about it. But nowadays, it doesn't work that way. Competition is fierce in many fields, many fields. Um, and I mean, I'm just gonna say this as a joke, kinda. And these young adults, they don't want to get their hands dirty no more. This is very few of them that do. They just don't. They don't have that mindset anymore. The World Wide Web and the openness of the internet has, I mean, it's done two good things. One, it's created a mass amount of information for people to have access all the time, and I love that. And then the other part is that people have access to information all the time. So it's a catch-22. There's not much independent people out there looking to investigate new things and new ideas, because there's a lot of regurgitation of information and being moved around in different locations, but saying the same thing. That's why I applaud these people that are going out and still doing these things that are very defiant and very independent. So it's it's a great message out there. So talk to me, folks. What's going on out there? How's everybody? Let me put these spectacle goggles on here. How's everybody digging? I'm loving this new setup. And you could see I got the other chair here, right? You can see the other chair over there. But let me unplug this and see what's going on, right? Oh, it's Alyssa's birthday today, too. Everybody say happy birthday to Alyssa. Alyssa and I grew up together. She lived across the street. So that's what's up right there. You heard? But who else we got here? Who else is with us? Oh, Mark Tukel is with us. Hey, what up, Mark? Ruthie's with us. Who else? Yolanda, Eva. Who else I got here? Tom, always my boy Tom. Who else? Cece's with us. Right? Yolanda said that. I know Rena's here somewhere. Who else we got here? Brenda, Kathleen. We got a bunch of people on here. How's everybody doing this Sunday, And so that's, kind of like my idea of my feeling this weekend. I'm digging the vibe here. Is everybody digging the vibe? I hope everybody's digging the vibe, because I'm really loving it. Soon I'm going to get up on the television screen you see up there. Soon we're going to have the Everything and Nothing podcast logo up there playing on the television. Or, whoever comes up here and, does a podcast will probably have their logo there. The studio is coming out fantastic. And again, that's my understanding of being independent. At one point having the television show and then not having the television show anymore. It's funny because in the end, basically they hand you a lot of horse shit and then they give you the shovel to shovel it into your bucket with, which was nice of them. So they hand you the horse shit and they're like, myself and another woman, Diana, created the concept for my television show and it worked. I mean, we proved the concept. Strong pilots, first season, second and third season, number one show on Cooking Channel. Who the fuck do they think they are? So then all of a sudden, then re-up a new season, some new people who think they know about something or other, or like, we're going to change everything. And I go, well, you're going to change it and expect a different result. That doesn't make much sense to me. And then the second part of it is that's not giving me the independence that you guys told me I was going to have with the show. So the idea of starting the podcast and having the studio gives me that independent feeling again. So it gives me that independence from having somebody dictate what it is that I can do and how I can do it and when I can do it. So, I mean, that's the difference. The difference is that's my form of independence. My form of independence comes in the form of learning how to do what somebody else did so I can do what I want to do. So that's how that is. So, like I said before, if I want something and I don't see it, I build it, I make it, I fix it. Same thing now, not the television show anymore, but now the YouTube channel. And that's what's up. They can't tell me a goddamn thing. Sons of bitches. But anyway, but the idea of this is just something that I adore. I love doing this. I love the production side of things. I love the genuineness of wanting to know and being curious. And now that I have a little more intimate setup here, is everybody digging the setup? I'm digging the setup. But anyway, I know I'm going to say that about 100 times. And the sign, did you see the artwork I got in the studio now? I don't even know what to say. I got great friends. That's how that is. Period. End. Boom, boom, boom. My mom's, everybody's got, this is the shit right here. So, That's why I tell everybody out there, get a little bit of your independence back. Fight for that independent feeling again. I know we're in relationships and we have children and all, and everybody's like, I can't do that. I got to go do this, and I'm like, shit, take a little bit of that independence back, and then go do what it is that you want to do. Right? We have to take that time, do the necessary things. You just do. That's how it is. Um, but on the flip side of that is, if you're not having that one or two things that you do that make you feel independent, that you can make that decision, it's kind of like, I want to do this. So I make sure on Sundays I'm doing my podcast. That's it. I know I work a lot. I work a lot of hours or whatever the case may be, but this is that one independent feeling that I get, and I get it from doing this. This is my TP paper, if everybody understands what I mean. I'm not saying I ain't wiping my ass with it, but I'm just saying that this is my independent. This is my rule of independence for me. This gives me that feeling. And I know everybody out there has that. We all have that little bit where we're like, shit, I want to have that one thing I do all the time, no matter what it is. We tend to lose sense of our independence because we become so responsible all the time that we think that's being independent, and in actuality it's not. We're actually following that normalcy again of, like, 9 to 5 or whatever the hours may be, paycheck, come home, pay all these motherfuckers the money that they got coming to them. I don't know how the fuck they deserve it, but let's do that. Let's pay everybody what they need to get paid, and that little bit of change left over, that's mine. Now I'll find something I want to do, and that's it. It's a hard balance. We all tend to fall prey to the beast, and it's a tough one, and the beast is the beast, and it doesn't matter, like people tend to think all the time, oh, well, they're rich, or I said, well, their feelings of the daily grind and the beast that they have to deal with is theirs. They have that too. Believe me. It's not just because somebody's wealthy or, is, famous or whatever it is, that they have any different sense of responsibilities. They have them too. Maybe their responsibility is a little, more decadent, maybe a little bit here and there, but they're still the same. They're not any different. We're not any different than anybody else, no matter what the status is. We still all have a certain amount of responsibilities, even if it's just to yourself. Even if you don't have children and you don't really have an immediate family that you take care of, you still have that responsibility to yourself. You got to take care of yourself. Again, remembering to go to the store, buy the toilet paper. It's not a hard thing to remember, but when you think about the simplicity of it, and as young people growing up and always home, you don't realize that simple matter of something like that. It's crazy that we don't think about it, but it's the truth. It's just a weird thing. We all have a natural understanding that's kind of like a given. Almost like there's a person behind the wall in your bathroom, and every time the roll is up, he just sneaks another one in. Nobody ever sees anybody do it. You just kind of walk in. The only time the toilet paper roll gets replenished is if you're sitting there and you got to yell to somebody else in the house to get your toilet paper. And don't fucking bullshit me. We've all done it at one time in our lives. I don't give a shit from whatever, old enough to sit on the bowl by yourself until you're gone, right? We all forget it sometimes. It's not a big mistake, folks. It just happens. It just happens. When the system wants the being wealthy must be a cold feeling. Well, I don't know about a cold feeling. It's definitely a different feeling. I mean, I haven't really felt what it's like to be able to throw $100 bill in a fireplace and not burn myself to dig it back out. I don't know if I can even throw a $10 bill in there and be like, fuck it, let it burn. I'd be pretty upset about that one too. I couldn't tell you for sure, but that's truly, I think being independent is truly a life's journey. Being independent is a journey. You're not always feeling independent from everything. That's the tough part. Like I said before, like some people are like, yo, I'm okay. I'll clean the house, but I'm not a good cook. So, there's kind of a trade off sometimes. I think that everybody should kind of have a basic or the basis to get along alone without anybody's help. I mean, I think that's the truest of independent message. So, I mean, like I said, aside from companionship, I mean, the idea of the things that you like and the things that matter to you and what have you. You should have a certain independence about yourself in order to take care of it by yourself. You shouldn't need somebody else to do certain things. Like, you shouldn't walk into somebody's house and there be a pile of laundry in the fucking room. That shouldn't be that way. You shouldn't know how to do. You should know how to do basics. And I'm gonna be. My son he gets it now. He understands it a lot more than he did before. So that's a good thing. You have to have that. If you have to stare at a pile of laundry and go, man, I don't know what the fuck to do next. My goodness, you better slap the shit out of yourself right away. Don't wait another minute. If you have to stare, hold on, I gotta plug this in. If you have to stare at your dirty laundry in the corner of a room and you really have no idea how to get started, then yeah, you're in a bad way. You're in a bad way. If you don't even realize at some point that you need water and soap to get them clean, then there's no hope. There's no hope at all. Buy only disposable clothes. Go to Home Depot, buy about 500 of those disposable white jumpsuit things. You put the zip up and you zip it's got a hood. You're good to go. You get like 1,000 of those things, and you just you wear one every day or one every 2 days, and you're good. You're good. White goes with everything. You don't have to worry about it. You can put a coat over it. It's all good. It's kind of and you just throw it away, and you've had enough looking at it. And what's good about it being all white? You can draw on it. Like you can put stickers and shit on it. Like you can become like a walking billboard and shit. like NASCAR. you just put stickers and you sponsor shit like Wonder Bread and Preparation H and stuff. And when you walk down the street, the people just read ads off you. And you sell space on your body, and that's how you go, and you don't have to worry. When you're done, a couple of, times, you wear it a couple of times, and then you just toss it away. You toss it right in the garbage. You don't need nothing. You got to wash yourself. But again, we're going back to the whole independent thing. So if you're washing yourself, you also know you're going to need soap and water. Just another helpful hint there from your boy from Brooklyn. He's just trying to help you out here. I'm trying to get everybody independent here. Well, you young adults, I'm offering some very good, insightful information here. So make sure you're paying attention. If you have any young adults at home from the ages of 16 to 20, whatever the hell, 20 teens or 2019 or 2030 teens, however long they're going to decide to stay at home, hit them up to your boy from Brooklyn, Shannon Bros. Have them watch the YouTube channel. They'll learn a couple, 2, 3 things. It doesn't matter. But I'll teach them the TP rule. Very, very important. I got to plug this in. All right, that's how it goes. It's plugged back in, and that's, I mean, shit. You talk about independent. Holy cow! 20 years ago, who would have thought everybody in their house would own a smartphone, an iPad, or a tablet of some kind, at least one home computer, and at least 10 and at least 37 fucking laptops. Who would have thought 20 years, I shit you not, 20 years ago, nobody, that would have been so far-fetched. What's even more far-fetched is the fact that I'm live streaming, I'm broadcasting from my studio here, right? From a couple of computers. And that to me is absolutely amazing. Again, making it independent. making it so that shit, 20 years ago, nobody would have thought of, basically having their own station. I have my own channel on YouTube. That's it. It's called the Shannon Ambrosio channel, and this is the Everything and Nothing podcast. But because of somewhere, some way, somehow, somebody, someone will say you, but somebody, was like, hey, I can figure out on the computer how to broadcast live from a video camera on the internet, and kablamo, kablooey, holy shitski, here I am, your boy from Brooklyn, Shannon Ambrosio, saying, you don't think this is independence? This isn't about being independent? This is it. This is 100%. This YouTube channel and what I do is independent. It is mine. It belongs solely to me. I create the content, which gives me my creativity and my independence. So really, when you think about things, you really shouldn't be focusing on the things that hinder you from being independent. You should use those things to push you to become more independent from things. Like I said before, wanting to learn how to do the oil change and brakes on your car, and putting in a light fixture, hanging shelves, changing bathroom fixtures, building computers, building studios. That creates independence. See, that's what that does. That creates the idea that I don't need somebody else to do these things for me. That gives me my independence. And I love that the most. I love that idea. I love the idea of not needing, and I'm not saying I don't like help. I do, right? We all do. Everybody loves a little help. We all need it, right? Don't think you don't. You can't know everything, and you can't do everything. That's not possible. We're individuals. That'll get me up on another topic because I'm a big Jeopardy fan, and I happen to think that they're giving them the questions ahead of time. That's just between me. You tell me out there if I'm fucking crazy. The idea is you can't say that these people will know any topic and any question of that topic in the amount of time that they've been alive. When you think about the span of a person's life as to when they go on Jeopardy and the amount of information that they would have to know and have learned to recall that information at any given time within a split second, and they would know that information, is almost impossible, because you're not alive long enough with the capacity to learn that much in enough time to be able to repeat all that information. Anyway, I digress. But again, another form of being independent is the fact that you can and you crave knowledge and you learn as much as you possibly can as fast as you can. So that's why I said, for me, learning these things and doing these things is my form of being independent. I absolutely love that stuff. Being able to cook, being able to clean shit, being able to sew, create a pattern, build a room. I mean, shoot, almost build a computer. Kind of had to rebuild the thing. And I'll learn more. Believe me, when I want to fix this thing or do whatever work I want to, I will learn how to do it on my own. Again, creating another form of being independent. That for me is everything. Shit. I can't even tell you how many times I think about things and I'm like, shit, man, I can figure that out. I can do that. That gives me a sense of being independent. And knowing the right people also. Being independent also means knowing the right people that know the right stuff. So you can be independent from having to know too much at one time. That's another part of being independent. You have to know when, not knowing is just enough reason to make sure that you do learn it in order to become independent from it. Last thing you want to do is go into a conversation and sound like a buffoon. But that was very important for me. Excuse me with that big cough there. That was very important for me with my son this weekend because, he has this sense of being independent without the enough experience of being independent, and we all do to a certain extent. But as you young adults start to get out there, that's the best message I can have for you is that whatever it is that you want to do at that point when you finally do break free and jump ship and fly the coop and whatever other cliche saying there is, make sure that you're paying attention all the time. Make sure that you have this, you have the tenacity to overcome, certain things that you will feel the urge to call somebody to get it done. And I give you this time that you should be learning life in an independent way so that you don't have to uh, rely on too many people while you're becoming the adult you want to become. And like I said before, independence for anybody else out there may not be to learn how to do certain things. It may be them knowing that they need to know other things and let the other people that do know do what they do. That's part of being independent too, not being um, so thick-headed to think that you can do it all. That's not possible either. So that's part of being independent as well. So remember those things as you go out there and you start to embrace your independence and feel and truly believe you are becoming the person you want to become. Don't always think of things as, you know, this is only for right now and this is how I feel right now. Think about what it's going to do for your future and think about what has given you this ability to do this from the past. Those are very good life lessons to have learned. And that's why I said, listen to me, folks. I say this every week, and I truly, truly, truly mean it. I truly mean that we all have a voice and we should be heard, and we all should be seen. And we all have the ability every day to treat every day like it's a good day. And if you give a smile, you're going to get a smile. You're going to get a bunch of smiles out there, folks. You're going to get a bunch of smiles from all those young folks and those young adults finally wanting to get out on their own and giving them this certain amount of tools and ability to do so freely, independently, without just cause of why. Letting them know that it's okay to fall down, make a mistake, move on, and not worry so much all the time. We tend to pass on this thing that we call stress. And I say, don't do it. It's most of the time unnecessary. A message of being independent works much better. Give the choice to let them make a choice. It's always good. And anybody that you come across. Remember, folks, we are all in this together. So let's all, create our own independence from whatever, whomever, or however it needs to be done. Now I got to go because it's around that time. And I know that everybody out there is subscribed and they got their bell rung, and you folks love watching the Everything and Nothing podcast. That's what's up right there. I really appreciate everybody who is subscribed, anybody who's going to subscribe. You can find me every Sunday on YouTube live. This is live, folks. I'm not playing games. I'm going to have guests here, I think next weekend too. So I'll let you guys know. I think we're going to have guests here. I'm trying to get my girl Robin Ann on here. She has a great YouTube channel. And when she comes on, she'll explain it all to you. And she's fantastic. I know Robin Ann, shoot, almost my whole life. Shit, since I'm fucking 11, 12 years old, maybe. 12 years old. Maybe that. She's great. She's got a great channel on YouTube. Brooklyn Dumpster Diving Moms is just something like that. I mean, she'll explain when she comes on. But she's great and creative, and she's got a great spirit. Oh my goodness, Robin Ann, what a wonderful, wonderful person. Anyway, we will, and then I'm gonna do something for Super Bowl here. I know that for sure. We're gonna have a crowd here for Super Bowl. I know that. It's going to be pretty dope. We're gonna have food. We're gonna do the whole pre-show right friggin' here in the Everything and Nothing podcast studio. It's gonna be off the fucking chain. You're not gonna want to miss that. I think I'm getting Mark Beal here for that. Very renowned author, marketing expert, same just great all around guy. I know he's coming. It's gonna be fantastic. I'm sure I'm gonna get my brother here, football head. And we'll see. I don't know. Maybe Keith too, McPherson. He's, he had he does the podcast about the Yankees, the George's Box. He also does the football thing during football season. He's great. He's got he's full of vigor. He's great. So I'm trying to get some heads together, with some football shit going on. We'll do the Super Bowl thing here. We'll do the pre-show here. We'll do a pre-show. We'll do a couple of, live feeds here. But that's not till, February. But anyway, we're gonna do something big here for Super Bowl. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'm hoping maybe next week Robert Ann will come on, and that'll be cool. And then I'm gonna try and get a couple more people together. We're gonna get Cliffy and Mike, Cliffy Roan, Mike Sinclair. I'm trying to get D Brown. I'm trying to get Chris Thompson, me, my brother. And we'll see what else. I want to see if I can get Danny Gash. I want to call him. I want to see if a couple of project heads, a couple of my PJ boys that I grew up with, come down and we do the podcast. It'll be dope and shit, Some voice, it'd be dope and shit. It'll be dope, man. That's one of the. I don't know what's going on. Hold on a second. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna tighten this up. All right, let's see what happens. I'm trying to get it so this thing don't untwist on me, right? It's not. I got to get a little bit better mics and a little bit better mic holders. But for now, these things, they're working good, right? So anyway, back to the discussion at hand. So I'm trying to get a couple of my PJ brothers together and get the podcast with those guys. I don't think it's going to be that hard. It's just, scheduling is a pain in the ass, with everybody. But I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, just scheduling in general it's tough sometimes. But my rule, you commit. Don't flake out. Don't be flaky. I don't like flaky fucking people. Anyway, but the idea is, we just got to get the scheduling together. That's important. It was great. I was with Michael Samari and Lewis and them guys again this week, just this past week. It's nice to finally see these guys again after 30, 40 friggin' years. I can't even believe it. It's just fascinating. It's incredible. But remember, folks, the independent thing is very important. And you know how it goes. Now, listen, I got to go. I got shit to do. I got to get out of here. I'll see you later. Everything and Nothing, every Sunday, live. It's live. It's live. You'll see. I'm going to get up and I'm going to walk out. That's how live it is here. It's so live, I'm live. I'm live right now. But I'm leaving.